York. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, Laura, how are you?
I'm great.
Well, we have an opportunity to talk today in complete sentences because Ebro is not here. But Young Buck is in the building.
I am in the building. What up?
Cashville, Tennessee's own.
Yeah.
You got a lot going on, man. New videos fire.
Yeah, man. Good looking, man. It's killing the streets right now. Can't Lose is out now. It's available on iTunes and Spotify, all the music platforms for y'all that want to just tune in right now and go check out the record if you haven't heard it, you know.
It's a really dope video too. What you seem to have a lot going on. You're just letting people know
that I'm here
that
forever.
Young Buck's here, not going anywhere.
Yeah,
you also look
much.
the exact same, by the way.
And that's a good thing.
You
Fantastic.
really do, though.
Thank you, though.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Honestly, I hear that a lot because I see a lot of dudes that, you know, like I say, I guess we don't get no younger, but I feel like I'm forever young, so I just try to do all the young things. How are you health-wise? Do you I'm good. I don't do a lot of working out yet. You know, I'm back and forth arguing with 50, of course. Yo, you got to get in the gym. Hold on, bro. Why you not in the gym yet? Hold on, bro. Go in the gym. I said I'm going when I get ready, 50. You know, I'm on that type of time right now, but I'm definitely going in. You know, I've done the workout thing in prison where I had no choice. That was my way in passing time, and I kind of found a love in it, but I just haven't went back to go get that love.
You
yet.
found a love in it,
Yeah.
but you'll have to find the love again.
I gotta find the love again,
because
you know.
jumping back in doesn't always feel like a loving endeavor.
It really don't. You know, I tried since I've been back home. I'm like, man, it hurt a little bit more than it was in there, you know. So, you know, it's just about.
When was the last time you were locked up?
Focus. Oh man, I've been out for the last year and a half, fully off of paper.
How long were you in for?
I had went for right at 18 months, my first situation, and ended up coming out, staying out for a year and a half. Right at 2 years, ended up going back for another year to complete my whole paper from the situation. So, you know, I done had my little trials and tribulations, ups and downs. It is what it is. I look at it, it all made me stronger. You know, I was one of them individuals that dropped out of junior high. Basically, I never went past the 9th grade in my younger years, but I was able to take my time and go to prison. And instead of going in better, I went in to come out better, and that's what I did. Got my GED in prison, a couple college courses and all that good stuff. So it was a rehabilitation situation for me at the same time. It's just
some people aren't able to do. I mean, a lot of people aren't able to do that. It's only bad for them.
Honestly,
I'm sure you saw people like that.
Without a doubt. You know, I ended up going to my first situation. I went to Yazoo Federal Penitentiary, which was considered a low penitentiary. And man, honestly, I ended up catching a misdemeanor and ended up going back to the medium. You know, so it was a level up. And you know, my cellies at the time was doing 80 years. You know, I probably had the lightest sentence in Yazoo Federal Penitentiary history. You know, I'm sitting.
Where is it exactly?
Mississippi.
It's in Mississippi.
It's in Yazoo, Mississippi. So I'm sitting in prison with all these dudes with all this time, life sentences, and you know, in federal prison when you got life, your paperwork just says deceased. Basically, you're walking dead already. So, you know, just that experience in itself, it made me want to get out and never go back, you know. So I started just planning on which direction I was going to go when I got out of here. You know, before I went to prison, my situation wasn't all the way ironed out with G-Unit. You know, so when I came home, I told myself I was going to go ahead and reach out to 50 because we hadn't spoken in 7 years straight, you know, with no contact in itself. So after my time in prison, I said, you know what, let me at least reach out because that's really, truly where my heart is at when it comes to pushing with the music.
Yeah.
You know, let me see where he at with it. And he was open to it. And honestly, man, I wouldn't change nothing I done been through because the separation or the misunderstandings that we had, it growed to make us and our bond stronger than it's ever been at this point. You know what I'm saying? So everything's on the up and up. We pushing. The unit is all together. I'm the captain of the ship. You understand what I'm saying?
What
So,
happened?
What does that? Hold on. What does that mean? You're the captain of the ship. Sorry, Laura.
It means, you know, I'm taking on the pressure of being the one to do everything in the sense of the unit, whether it's, you know, push the music, have the hits, keep the crew together, whatever it takes. You know, I play that position, you know, as well as 50.
But 50 is a lot of other things too.
Yeah,
he's running TV shows and he's
without a doubt
running businesses.
Without a doubt, and you know he's just looking for everybody to step it up. Me, you know what I'm saying? Banks, Yayo, everybody, Uncle Murder, the whole team.
Right.
And that's what we're doing. You know, individually, I think the success of G Unit happened so fast, and it happened through 50's story that a lot of people, I ain't gonna say forgot, but tend to forget that everybody, those same individuals that's standing right there with 50, just helped making this G Unit thing work. We got stories as well. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just about, I guess, staying loyal, staying down until the world's ready to hear your story. And I just think they ready for my story. You know what I'm saying?
So you mentioned keeping the unit together. I think I saw something online, and please correct me if I'm wrong, about Lloyd Banks no longer being a part of G Unit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, 50 put up a post. If you don't follow 50 on Instagram, I suggest you to go to his Instagram.
For a variety of reasons.
For a variety of reasons.
Get the strap, you know what I'm saying?
Get the strap, bring your strap with you. You know, but honestly, I seen what 50 posted, and I never questioned 50 about what he's doing or what he got going on.
And it wasn't even like a malicious thing. The one I saw was kind of like, all right, it's no longer. But he even tweeted, talked about his mixtape, like in support. It looked like it was all good.
Yeah, that's the one I seen. I don't know nothing about anything else. But you know, at the end of the day, I look at it like this: whatever the situation is, of course, I wouldn't want my brother, speaking Banks, with no other label or with nowhere else other than us. You know, that's my brother, always gonna be. And I'ma just be honest, whether Banks was with, you know, the unit or on his own or with anybody, Banks gonna be good regardless. You know, Banks to me is one of the best lyricists in music, you know. So I feel like
people feel very strongly about Lloyd Banks.
Yeah,
I hear from the Banks people. They're
without
out there.
a doubt.
There are
Without a
lots
doubt.
of them out there. They come for me. If there's a list and Banks ain't on it,
yeah,
people do
they
not
come.
take that well.
They come, and I might come for you too, Peter. If you're not on there, you know what I'm saying?
Just know.
Honestly,
I get it. You guys had a crazy. Another thing, you were talking about everyone having a story.
yeah.
Everyone also, like, there was a time when all of you guys sold a ton of records. What did your debut album sell?
Man, my first record, straight out of Cashville, I think I'm double platinum. You know, honestly, I don't think it was ever a group at the time of G Unit coming out where every individual of the group had a platinum record. Not even NWA, I think, even was able to accomplish that goal. So, you know, we've broke records and done a lot of great things for the business, but one thing I've learned about this business, you're only good as your last record. You know, everything that we've contributed to the game has been blessings, just as it is just to be a blessing and still being relevant right now, because I can look back from 03, 02, Peter and Laura, like, man, where's dude at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember this and remember him, but for me to still be here and still be relevant, and it's a blessing in itself. So I just choose to, you know, reinvent myself in a sense with this music and try different things. That's why you get what you get out of this Can't Lose single that I got out. It's not the average Young Buck record or the type of record that you would think that would even come from G Unit. It's a motivational record.
I think of you as in that way, though. I sort of think of I don't know if it's the tone of your voice or the things you've done on certain records generally, but I do sort of think of you in like a motivational, get hyped up sort of way.
And honestly, that's really my push, whether it's to motivate you to go do something crazy or motivate you to do something right. So you're absolutely right, Peter. It's more of a situation, though, we Can't Lose. Making this record, I can't categorize it as R&B. You know, you get the melodies and the whole thing from Buck, but the content and the feel of it is more of a blues feel. You know, I come from Tennessee, so it's got that blues in a sense, something that hasn't been implicated, I think, in definitely there's nothing out to sound like what Can't Lose sound like at this point. So it's just about reinventing yourself, trying different things, you know, I call this R&G, rhythm and gangster.
Yeah.
You know, because it's got the melodies, but if you listen to exactly what I'm speaking on, you know, of course it's real, but it's more of a motivational situation where you can play this record for your mother, your children. You know,
my mother always wants
up,
to hear Young Buck anyway. So
and you see what I'm saying? And she'll really appreciate this record.
I'll be like, Mom, Young Buck has new music.
For you.
Stop listening to Let Me In, all right? Time for this new Young Buck.
You already knew the direction you wanted to go when creating this record?
I ain't gonna say I knew the direction. I just knew that I wanted to do something different. You know, with all respect to the game, everything almost kind of sounds the same. You know, you have a lot of records that's got the same, you know, pattern, whether it's that, or whatever the case may be.
No, we know. Yeah.
I wanted to add, you know, the element of course, lyrics, you know, put that in the middle of what's going on. And then I just wanted to do something different that make me stand out away from what's of everything that's out there. And I know I've been working on so many different records. I was more or less like kind of caught up in between one of the records that people are used to hearing from Buck and then taking a gamble with this record. And it's probably the biggest and best gamble that I've ever taken at this point, because people loving the record. It's walking me in the doors that I never thought that I'd be going in. And honestly, it's just, I think people were looking and still is looking for motivation at this point. We living in a Trump era.
Facts.
You know, and
people need something.
We need something. I think we were all demotivated the minute Obama walked out of the building. So when you have any kind of records that's motivating not just, you know, one genre of people, but able to motivate the world, then I think that's what this record is doing. So yeah, I expect to get these endorsement deals. Yeah, I expect to hear from the NFL and see me playing in the middle of the commercials. Yeah, I expect the NBA, because it's something that's dear for them. I mean, when I first put this record out, Peter, I started going throughout the Instagram, and I'm looking at all these different athletes post working out to this record. And that's when I knew, okay, I'm going to go forward with this record.
Right.
Because I put it out rough.
Yeah.
And you saw that it resonated.
I seen that it resonated, and it's got me right here, you know?
So we were talking off the air about how Nashville's really blown up. Now, it in my world where it's blown up is like, girls trip, Nashville, that sort of, like, and going, and it's funny, my wife took a girls trip to Nashville, and my wife is a blonde woman from Maryland, but she is my wife, so her sensibilities are a little bit different. And she had a great time, but she did say that, like, she couldn't deal with the dudes hitting on them, like wearing cowboy hats. Like it was a lot. Like people, and I don't think they were from Nashville. I think people go to Nashville to be like, I'm gonna country out this weekend. Like that's why,
like to play a part.
Yeah, it's almost like we're going to the country. This is where country is. So
this past weekend, it was crazy.
Why? What was popping this past weekend?
Of course, you know the CMAs is like the biggest country music awards, the biggest event there. So the city is lit up with all kind of country music fans.
How segregated is Nashville in that regard?
It's segregated a lot, to be all the way honest.
Like if you go down to enjoy the CMA experience, are you going to see any black people from Nashville, or is it totally no?
We sprinkled in here and there. You know, honestly, you know, I was there this year. I actually went to the CMAs for the first time in my life, hung out with the whole event and I'm from there. I've never.
Why this year? How'd that end up happening?
I don't know, honestly, man. I just had
making me mad I didn't watch it, because if I swear to God, if the camera going to commercial, be like, we'll be right back on the CMAs, and the camera swept by and I'm like, is that Young Buck? Young Buck's next to Garth Brooks.
Now, honestly, you know what? I guess I just started having them flashbacks of sitting in prison, and I opened up a Vibe magazine one time. I'll never forget it. Jamie Foxx was on the cover. It was when Durango, the movie, just dropped. Mm-hmm. And they had an article in there where Taylor Swift was speaking on...
Do you mean Django?
Django. I said
your
Durango.
Whole team's laughing. That's why I named it.
I'm thinking
Durango's
about the car.
a Dodge vehicle.
I'm thinking about the
Django
car.
is the movie
Oh,
with Jamie
with
Foxx.
Django.
Yo, your friends will cut you no slack.
Ain't it spelled like almost like
Close.
Durango?
One letter, yeah. I think so. Or two, maybe two.
Well,
All right, so go ahead.
Django.
Yeah.
So you saw Jamie Foxx on the cover.
Yeah, and I was sitting in prison. I opened up the magazine, and out of nowhere, I see an article with Taylor Swift, and she was speaking on how she used to, ride by my house constantly because she come from the actual neighborhood where my house lived. It's in the suburbs, Hendersonville. And she would ride by my house, daily, looking at all my cars in front.
What?
What?
So-
I never
Yes.
It's in the
peeped that.
magazine. You should check it out. So when
That's
I thought
crazy.
about that, I started to say, you know what? I don't know where she live at the ride by her house, but maybe I'll go downtown and see if I can bump into Taylor and say, hey, here I go. You don't have to ride by my house.
Have you ever met Taylor Swift before?
Nah, I've never met her. It was
Yeah.
interesting because here it is. I'm sitting in prison like, what? The biggest country music star in the world to see her talking about she used to ride by Young Buck's house.
That's crazy.
Just honestly, just trying to expand my horizon in a sense and touch bases in different areas. I guess that's what took me to the CMAs.
Well, it says here, hold on.
You found it?
I'm about to watch this clip. Hold on.
Oh, when she did the Shorty Wanna Ride With Me thing?
I was told about the news that I won a Shorty Award. I felt really conflicted because I'm very
she ends it.
small. I did not understand what the honor was for. And now I understand that it's for the fact that you guys have been unbelievable on social media, and I'm really happy about that. My second thought, just for the record, was, Shorty wanna ride with me, we can get low.
Oh, man. Listen,
Taylor Swift rapping Shorty Wanna Ride With Me. I didn't know.
Yo, Taylor.
So how was the CMA experience? Did people stare at you and be like, oh my God, who's this rapper?
I really realized I was bigger than I felt. I'm looking like, I really don't know who you are, country star, but hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying?
People knew you.
Yeah, they really did.
Well, I mean, listen, let's be real. Besides country, there are not a lot of stars from Nashville, that we know about,
Without a
at
doubt.
least publicly. You should have gotten a cameo on the show Nashville.
Without a doubt.
That should have happened. You should have been on the soap opera.
It's not too late.
No, I think it's over.
I think.
Yeah, they finished it.
Oh, yeah?
It's too late. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to redo it. It was wrong.
Well, y'all need to start it all over again.
Yo, have you been to any
Y'all
Predators?
miss me.
Have you been to any Predators games?
No. Yes.
Hockey.
Did we? No, we went down. Look, I went to go because honestly, shout out to our hockey team, PK and everybody. But we went down to go to a hockey game, and honestly, it was so crazy that the party felt better outside of the
Oh,
arena.
really? It was that lit outside?
It be that lit, man. Our hockey games be lit for
Was this
real.
at like the Stanley Cup last year or something? Because
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
popping.
yeah, it was
Sorry,
super
my
popping.
squad, the Penguins,
So
won.
you
but
guys just got caught up outside.
We got caught up outside, and there it was. So yeah, that's how it went down.
have you gotten to meet PK Subban?
No, man, but I think
Y'all are two of the most
Right.
famous black people in Nashville.
I think you need to check in, bro. You've been in my city too long without hollering at me. Now shout out to PK, man. For
Now
real.
tell us real quick. You have you were breaking down for me off the air. You have a lot of stuff going on. You got a watch.
Oh yeah, I brought you one too. I got you one too as well, Laura.
Amazing.
You have, so what's the watch? You have a what's that deal?
Meister, it's a watch company where I'm actually I'm gonna make, of course, you're gonna have your luxury brand of watches that's gonna, cost you a little bit with the diamond crusted. But I want to really come behind with a new watch situation in the beginning for those that may have, been able to pay attention to my whole watch line in the beginning. It was the 10 key timepiece, and that watch did really, really well. And I kind of just backed away from the situation when I started going through so many trials and tribulations. So I figured, let me come back and give the world my same energy with that because it was working for me. So I was able to team up with these guys, Meister. They gave me a good situation, and I just want to be able to give affordable watch to the people. I look and try to find things that branding-wise that artists is not doing or haven't put their hands on it, but something that's essential for everybody. And one of the only pieces that I can see that everybody tends to, whether it's male, female, woman, or child, whatever the case it may be, everybody has a watch on.
Right.
And you have so many celebrities that push lines and brand themselves through clothing as well as me.
Because you do have a clothing line. You have
Yeah.
a couple of things. You have a T-shirt situation.
Yep. I have I did a collaboration. Shout out to Saint Symphony. Saint Symphony is one of the #1 luxury brand of T-shirts that they have out there. I did a collaboration tee with those guys, and you can go to Saint Symphony's site and check it out. It's the David Brown collection, which is my government. You know, and
Wow, putting the government out there.
I'm putting the government out there.
You're
Look
growing
at
up,
me.
man.
I'm growing all the way up now, you know? And yeah, man, just doing different things.
Do you ever look back at the time, speaking of luxury, and you're pretty low key today. I mean, you got a watch, I can't even call it a chain. You're wearing a necklace, like you're low key.
Yeah, just low.
Do you ever look at, the other day, Busta I don't know if you saw it, Busta did a throwback thing last week where he was posting his jewelry from the late 90s, early 2000s.
He been
It was some of the craziest looking shit I have ever. I mean, I'm talking about like a foot worth of jewelry.
Lord.
Do you ever look back at any of your guys' outfits or jewelry from the early days and go, what the
all
fuck?
the time? You know, honestly, I'll be scrolling sometimes throughout the Instagram. You catch a lot of pictures and stuff from back in the G, and I'd be like, man, I can't believe my T-shirt was that big. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
do you still have some of that jewelry?
I
Some
do.
of your first pieces?
Well, not a lot of them.
Okay.
My YB, when me and 50 got into it, I took it and busted all the diamonds out of it.
The original
YB spinner chain.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I don't even want this to remind me of what was going on. I was in my feelings.
Didn't
know?
you invent the spinner on the chain?
Oh, well, yeah. Yep.
I think you even said it on record.
Of course. Yeah, that was my thing, of course. And
The Rock the Mic tour, I threw off my chain?
yeah, my spree wheel spinning, man. I'm doing my thing. And ordinary trouble now that you in the game.
Damn.
Man, for sure.
You had a lot. Listen, it was a crazy time. But
It was.
speaking of which, I was listening to Prodigy's book recently, which I always recommend to everyone who's
Rest
a hip hop
in peace
fan.
to P.
Could you have any memories of Mobb Deep from the G Unit era? Any memories of Prodigy?
Oh, man. Prodigy always was a solid dude. I didn't really get a lot of times to kind of get real in depth with P. I used to always tell P, yo, bro, when you gonna take me to Queensbridge, bring me to the projects? Yo, I'm gonna get you there done. Don't trip. I miss P. And it's crazy because when P passed away, with my separation between 50 and G Unit, he was still amongst the unit. I think he kind of felt some type of way, so he had a little negative energy that used to come my way. I never would, I just wanted to see P face to face. I'm one of them type of dudes, you know. I think he had said a few things, and I just was more like, okay, it's cool, I understand, you know.
Because he was still cool with them, and you were out.
For sure. So I was like, when I see him, man, we'll iron everything out and see where it's at. So
He did seem to have a very interesting loyalty to 50.
Yeah.
I think he really felt
and
that
50 did, and 50 still does, man, a real relationship with P, you know.
Yeah.
And Have. You know, shout out to Have. They some solid dudes. You know, I have nothing bad to say about P or Have. They whole time being amongst G Unit, like I say, they always was real solid and always done what they had to do. And I salute both of them. Rest in peace to
How
P.
crazy were those early tour days, though?
It was wild, man. Straight up. It was really,
But which was
wild.
the first one you were on? Which was the first big tour?
Rock
you
the
were on?
Mic.
Yeah.
That was the first time, honestly, I had.
What year are we talking?
When was the
Like,
Rock the Mic? 2002? 02? 02, 03? Yeah, that was the first actual tour that I ever went on in my life. And with that tour there, it was kind of like the kickoff for my career in a sense because, you know, I had just became a part of G Unit and Yayo was incarcerated. So that whole tour, I was still experiencing the whole, yo, what up, Yayo? You know, being considered Ye and that.
Right.
Yeah, so it was more of, you know, a tour where I was getting myself branded to G Unit.
Does this sound right? 50, J,
Yep, that's
Missy,
it.
Busta,
Snoop.
Fab, Snoop, Lil Mo, Sean Paul.
Without a doubt. That was it. That was the tour, first tour ever. And like I say, even that, I didn't even know what amount of money. We were out there on the stage for nothing, but I know when that tour was over, I was a millionaire. So that's kind of how I found myself even experiencing my first financial troubles because, you know, here it is. I'm strictly off the streets, and 50 got me right out here on the road with him, and I get off the road with him, and he telling me, yo, man, you need to go check the account that I told you to set up. And I'm like, all right, cool, not really paying things attention. I go check it, and it's 1 point something in there. And I'm like, I had to come back to him like, yo, bro, I just checked my account, bro. It's got all these zeros. Like, what's going on, bro?
Is this real? Is this all me? It's all me?
And he just laughed at me, bro. Like, really, truly laughed. Like, yo, like, yeah, it's you, man. Like, laughed it off. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I showed him it was me. I left there and went and bought everything I was supposed to and wasn't supposed to. I didn't know nothing about taxes or none of that.
It's really interesting though, because we hear that a lot. You know, it's like as a young artist or a new artist, and you come into all this money all of a sudden, and not being educated when it comes to finances, how we see it over. It's a mistake that we see over and over again.
Yeah, you had one of the rough stories.
Yeah,
I feel like
I did. I had one of the roughest stories because my situation was more like when it happened. I had no one to blame, of course. But I had no knowledge of what was going on because it was like, man, I seen all this money and it wasn't like I was new to money, but I was new to legal money.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
And this is a lot of money.
I mean, just to be able to go and buy what you want, you know what I'm saying? I've always had to be able to buy what I want, but I had to go jump through hoops to get what I wanted.
Well, and you had to pay attention to how much it was because at the end,
everything else, So for me, it was like, okay, man. My mom's still in the bricks right now. Even though this is taking out for me, my mom's still living in the project. Man, that Bentley look good and I can't afford it. So it was more of a situation of compulsive. If I wanted it, it was times I would want things and I would call 50 like, yo, bro, man, this truck right here, bro, I want it, bro, but they saying they need to talk to you for me to get it, stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So it was just young and growing up and not having the knowledge of what to do with the money, and then I go and spend all of this money, and then all of a sudden, here come Uncle Sam, like, you know what I'm saying? And he's telling me that I owe, $400,000 or whatever the case may be, and I'm looking in there like, it's not in there. Like, how did I owe you $300,000-$400,000? It's my money.
Right.
So I came back to 50 like, yo, what does these people talk about? It was, again, the same laugh. Oh, man, It was more of a thing like he made me get my own experience, my own learning thing, and he constantly would not just tell me and try his best to educate us on getting ourselves educated with dealing with money, putting that money up for a rainy day. So I don't blame 50. I could never sit here and say, yo, my brother ain't never paid me or none of that. A lot of dudes got complaints about, not getting paid, man. Listen, man, 50 made sure we was millionaires before we even had albums out.
You just had to do the work.
We just had to do the work. So people nobody can ever exploit bro about not paying no artists. I won't let nobody get off like that. We may have made our own mistakes. And
you have any idea how much money you wasted?
I don't. I remember at the time we was beefing, he used to be like 10 million. I was like, nah, 50, not that 10. Much. It wasn't 10. But, it was a lot. It was a lot, honestly. And
did you buy the house?
That was my mistakes. You know what I'm saying? If I knew what I was doing now, I would have bought the house. But
so the house Taylor Swift used to drive by, you rented?
No, I never rented. I was leasing to buy the home. And in the midst of everything happening to me, not only did I just lose, everything that I own, everything that I didn't buy, at the time, I lost down to my mother's home. So it was more or less me trying to get credit together at the time. I'm, leased and to buy my home, my mother's home, and then here it is, I go through the tax situation, and when I wasn't able to come through, because at the end of the day, it wasn't a situation where I could call 50 to lean on 50 this time, because we had had I fallen out. So it was just going for what you know.
Had you not had the falling out, do you think that in the worst case situation financially, you could have called him and been like, yo, I need you to help me get out of this?
No. I think he was more at this point where I done that a couple times for
already.
You already. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like,
got to make you stand on your own.
Yeah,
bro.
I got to make you stand on your own regardless. That's the best thing he could have did for me. Honestly, I went to prison broke. I didn't have nothing. Straight up, I had lost everything, including my mother house. The only thing I went to prison with was a debt. I probably owed $60,000 or $70,000 back to the IRS when I went to prison. I gave it back to him from prison. I got it off the yard. You dig what I'm saying? So I paid my debt from prison. Just the fact of having to get out in prison and hustle like I was any one of those other individuals that didn't have nothing in prison. I come from that life. Here it is. One thing I sit back and realize, I say, I spent my whole life in the streets doing whatever it took for me to survive. I get blessed to go get all this success, become a millionaire, and then go to prison. Mine was done a little bit backwards. So, for me, and my experience of prison was totally different than I would say an individual that went to prison, without being this celebrity. I went to prison with full celebrity status.
Did it make you relate? Did you see Meek's situation? Did it make you really feel for Meek? Because Meek, same kind of thing. He made it.
I really felt for Meek. I really understood it, but I also always felt that he's gonna be good regardless. You know what I'm saying? Certain individuals, that's real with themselves are facing real situations, and they able to, stand forward and stand in front of it, and stand tall with it. I kind of look at those guys like, yeah, they're going to be all right. So he never showed no signs of letting that situation break him. A lot of these dudes couldn't handle those situations. They talk a lot of these things and then be put in these situations, and first thing you're looking for is PC, protective custody. So I do take my hats off for the individuals that's experienced prison and came back the same way. Shout out to Gucci, man. I watched how he went to prison and changed his situation. And
He's only gotten better.
He's only gotten better.
Looks better.
Yes.
Right. Music's great. Like
putting out books, bestsellers.
Straight up. So I feel the same way. I feel like, I use my time of incarceration as rehabilitation, no different than him. You have a few dudes who have put themselves in positions where they had to go experience prison, and I don't think their experience of prison was the same as mine, only behind the fact of, the level of prisons that they went to is more like camps, and prison is prison, but
But federal time in Mississippi doesn't sound pleasant.
Not at all. Not at all. Mine is documented. You know what I'm saying? I really walked the yard in a real way. So, like I say, it's nothing to be proud of, but it's something that I never expected and seen in my entire life, where I was able to go touch bases with individuals that I know that I never see these streets again. And I was able to take the experience of being amongst some individuals that literally have nothing or nothing to live for, but live life as if everything is okay. So for me, I couldn't find a bitterness or none of that, knowing that I had an outdate. I'm in a cell with somebody that's got 80 years, and he wakes me up like, yo, bro, let's hit the court. And I'm like, I'm sitting here with this small amount of time.
Right, you feel obligated to.
So I immediately got with the program fast, and then, started finding out where the money at in here.
Well, listen, as you can hear, that's what's behind. That's the heart behind Can't Lose.
For sure.
New single from Young Buck. Look for everything you got going on. Thank you for coming, making time with us, man.
Man, it's always the best interviews.
Facts.
And it's always
You're always
good
honest
when I come through up here, man. Shout out to Hot 97.
It's love, man. Been love here forever. Young Buck, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, man.